Pooja, you've had a really interesting career so far in retail, marketing and leisure marketing. Tell us about sort of where it all began. What made you get to this position you're in now?
I've had a fantastic career actually. I've worked with some amazing brands, and that career started at Ted Baker.
Yeah.
Straight after university, I joined the company as a wholesale and marketing assistant. Did that for about a year and a half, then moved to Liberty, beautiful store on Regent Street, and covered their store events, digital marketing, newsletters. It's a fairly junior role, but again, great insight to retail.
Yeah.
Worked there for a couple of years and then moved to Selfridges and applied for a position there in the home and food team. So quite a new territory for me to be quite specific in terms of my work. And I guess that's where my real love for food and drink came from.
Okay.
And I worked there for about 4 years. Some amazing projects I was involved in.
Do you want to just cover off one of your big initiatives that you've sort of set up here at Drake & Morgan? Because it seems quite a lot of things that you've been doing.
I'm involved in a lot, which is fantastic. Obviously we're opening sites galore at the moment, so that's my kind of big project. But I think when I joined the business, there wasn't a huge appetite, I would say, for sort of social. And that's something that I think is really integral in the industry that we're in.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
we utilise that. And you know, I wouldn't say it's one of the bigger initiatives, but I think it's definitely one of the channels of marketing that we're not utilising enough. And sort of brought that to the table and just said, look, you know, these influencers are those people that are going to speak positively about us. And actually, we should maybe look at how we're splitting our budget across the channels and put some more in this. And I think that's one of the things that I've sort of got everyone to buy into a bit more. There's a lot of monthly initiatives that we do in terms of sort of social influencers, big brunches.
Right.
It's just trying to get the reach out there. You know, food and drink is as sexy as fashion, if not on a par.
Yeah. So Drake & Morgan's a really exciting brand. I mean, you just walk in and it does feel different to some of the other bars that you see in London. There's lots of space in all of the bars.
Yeah,
and
without doubt.
What's the theme? Would you say, like, how would you describe the sort of brand image here?
Well, all of the sites are different from each other, but when you visit them all, there's something that pulls them together.
Yeah.
They're big spaces, often across 2 floors. We buy sites in high office occupancy areas. We're targeting those workers.
Right.
But there's a real feel of, you know, it's a feminine feel within all of the sites.
Yeah, I get that.
And that comes from Gillian. And, you know, we refer to them as our touches and our sparkles.
Okay, I like that.
And, you know, we do things that other bars and restaurants don't do in terms of we have 2 big seasonal refreshes.
Right.
Where it's almost like a retail business or fashion. So, you know, autumn, winter and spring and summer will have changes to the menu, visual merchandising, there'll be new touches.
Like this, for example?
Exactly, like this autumnal pop-up. There'll be throws outside in the seas, there'll be hot water bottles. And it's just helping that consumer sort of, you know, we're transitioning them into a new season. And I don't know many bars and restaurants that do that, actually.
What I like about your style and sort of how you've become, you know, a marketer over the course of your career, you've mentioned, you know, certain influences that you've had, and I think that's quite an important thing to talk about, really, is that impact of mentors. Talk to me about that, like, tell me a bit more.
Yeah, I've worked for some amazing people who are still in my life in some way, shape or form. I think my advice to anybody wanting to work in the industry is work for the best operators, work for the best F&B directors. You'll learn so much from them. And you know, mentors as well as your network. You know, it's effort. You know, it's often after work, but make sure you socialise with people that do the same thing as you. You know, it's those people offer you practical and emotional support. I've worked hard. It's not through luck. But my reputation has carried me a long way. And a lot of the jobs that I've had are not through me filling in a form. Yeah. It's somebody giving me a call. It's somebody saying, we've heard from somebody, we should speak to you. And, you know, that's invaluable.
Exactly.
It's invaluable. So, you know, work your socks off. It's worth it.
What are the sort of key sort of tips that you would give anyone in marketing, I suppose?
I think I can only refer to myself, obviously. As I've got a bit older and got more experience, I think it's learning not to sweat the small stuff. Don't fester over things. You know, everything in this industry, it's fast moving, and marketing is very subjective. It's not like finance, or, you know, no one's going to challenge the FD, but they will tell you they don't like a bit of advertising or a bit of print collateral. And you have to just sort of accept that feedback.
What do you sort of see as the trends coming up in the industry? I know it's a hard question to ask, but within marketing, not necessarily the industry.
I'm not sure if it's a trend, but I think there'll be an acceleration behind digital.
Yeah.
I don't mean just sort of websites, but I think in terms of how we market to people, whether it's through mobile or through apps. We don't have an app, but I'm sure we will as our business grows. I'm sure we'll start taking payments through those apps, more for sort of data capture and marketing purposes. And we're putting a lot behind, customer experience, mystery diners. Again, it's not trends, it's not new stuff, but I think people are going to put more behind those channels.
What would you sort of say to your 18-year-old self?
You've got to put in the hours. You've
Yeah.
got to work hard. Nothing is going to be given to you on a plate. If you want the world, you've got to work for it. And, I'd say to a 17, 18-year-old, take up the internships, deliver, over-deliver. There may not be a job out of it there and then, but believe me, when they need you, they'll call you back.
Yeah.
And I think, just, you've got to put the legwork in.
Excellent.
And it will pay dividends.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much,
Pleasure.
Pooja. It's been a great interview.
Thank you,
Really
Pooja.
enjoyed chatting with you.